Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So the problem we had last time is the fact that information from tabs is being shared. So what we can do is to separate these things, because currently there's no way for us to know which tab of information is being sent. Because, for example, when this tab is loaded, the information on this tab is not. So because each tab is loaded one at a time like this. So if we try to submit data from here, it will expect that the data from here as well has been submitted when it hasn't. So then it will assume this is the only data that should replace the current system here. So this is where we have a problem. So what we need to do is find a way to detect to only affect one tab. And the only way to do that is to add another column, and then that column will tell us what tab we are on. So looking at this, we can see that the longest tab name is this one. So I can roughly count how many characters are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's almost half. So probably 20. So I think if we put a column of 50, that should be enough. So we come down here to our courses meta table, and then let's go to the structure, and let's add an extra column called tab. Now, since we will use this is variable character, 50 characters should be enough, and let's save that. Now, since we'll be using this to read some data, let's add an index. And also on top of that, actually this should never be empty, so let's not tick the new thing here. So tab is right here. Currently none of these have a tab. So what I will do is, just to preserve this information, I will copy this and put it in there, just so when I refresh on this, it will be there. So there it is. I want to resave this, but then let me truncate the table. Let's go to operations here. Let's remove all the data from the table. Now this time I want the tab name to actually appear as part of this. So what I'll do is, let's get back here. Let's go to our app and let's go to models. So here we have the course meta. So always remember, when you add a column there, you must add it here, otherwise it will not be part of the table. It will never be updated. So let's put tab like so and save that. Okay, great. So back to our controllers and admin. Let's go down to excuse me here. So there must be somewhere where we are comparing tab names. So tab name is inside post tab name, which in this case we're checking if it's intended learners. So since we're already doing this, we can simply write whatever tab name is in the if statement, because we already know it matches. Like in this case, it's intended learners. So let me copy that. So let's come down here and let me duplicate one of these and put tab. And then over here, I will put intended learners, like that. Now, because tabs are very specific, that's why I'm doing that. Now, if they were not, I would put the variable instead with tab name. So I can do that as well, which is exactly the same thing. So let me just copy that. And let's put it here as well. Okay, so both tabs have a tab name. Now, since we are saving the tab name, it should be of use when we are trying to find the old IDs. So the old IDs are right here, old records, and then we grab the old IDs from the records. So right here where we are saying course ID, we're not only just looking for the course ID this time, we are also searching for the tab, which in our case is inside this tab name. So back here, let's put that there. Great. So now when we are reading the old record, we are looking for the tab as well. That should match, and then we save. Okay, great. we shall do that as well here. Old records, great. Let's put tab over there like so. Alrighty then, this should solve our problem. So let's try this. So right here, I'm just going to hit save. So edit it a little bit and save. So let's make sure that the tab name is saved as well. And it is. Very good. Now let's try and save something else on a different tab. Let's add a section and say this is some data. Okay, let me just put curriculum here just so I know what data this is for, and then let's hit save. Okay, so if I come back here, let's see if we've added something new, and there it is. Look at that, very cool. Now I can add another section here and just put a 2 at the end. Let's see if that actually works. So let's come back, refresh, and there it is. So data 2, very good. So things are working, but if I now refresh, I don't get that information back, but it's no more conflicting with this. Also, I don't see why this is not giving me an alert that it has saved my data. So let's see what that is all about. I haven't checked to see, but let's try and see it. So in the admin view, courses view, because we know this is where our JavaScript is. So let's come down here and look for handle result. So when the result is done, curriculum. Okay, so we load inputs. No. It should be on the save. So let's look for send data, and actually the handle result. So send data right here on the save. And because when saving, wait, show tab. I'm looking for for the save thingy. When we hit the save button, what happened? Save content right there. Okay, so we are using the send data. So we should check here where it says if object is saved on the handle result. If we have saved, and then there are no errors. So it doesn't look like there is any alert that we should get. So maybe because I muted that, I think. So let me try and unmute that, and let's refresh. And let's try and save again. So now what I want you to observe is how this data is being saved. So you see we have extra curriculum here, but I want to save what's on intended learners. So I wanted to just replace the existing ones without adding new ones. So we are on number 9, and you see that it will replace these guys here without a hassle. So I'm going to put 1 at the end here. What's happening? I'm not even sure why it's doing this. It doesn't go to the end of the... So let's hit save. Okay, so it echoes the data, but that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was the message that things have been saved successfully. But this does not look like the data. Why is this the data being returned? This is not cool. Okay, let's see, show or errors. If errors is an object, or else dirty is equal to false, then maybe let's alert ourselves to the message. We'll just alert obj.data, I guess. Or is it? Okay, let me save that. Let's come back to the admin section here. Let me see what we are sending back. So data is course saved successfully. That's right. So once I finish saving here, where does it go? It simply echoes the data, right? Okay. Interesting. And then when we come back here, there is handle result. Let me see what's in the console. Okay, so there's data type, save, intended learners. Where is the message though? That's what I'm trying to look for here. Data type, save. What's happening? Doesn't seem to be any data. It seems to just return the same data that was sent. Wait a second here. obj.data. This is very weird here. I'm not sure where I am going wrong, because this information should not be what we are getting back. Okay, so that's info there. Which exactly is this? Oh, there's data. Okay, so that's the problem. Data is being replaced by JSON post. Okay, so this is my bad. Shouldn't have done this. I should remove this. This was just for experimentation. I think I may have forgotten to put that back. So let me do the same thing here as well. Okay, cool. I think that should do the trick. Okay, so let's refresh one more time and let's do some saving. I'm just going to... Why? Oh, why is this happening in the input? I don't know. Okay, course saved successfully. Okay, that's much better. So back here, on the loading thing, we have a problem. It doesn't load as it should. So let's inspect and see what's happening. So there is an error here. So things are being returned properly, I think, in this case, but there's an error. So it's saying uncaught type error. Document.query selector is no. So what it's just saying is that it can't find a particular object. So usually if you click here, it should show you where that line is. But even if it doesn't, here at least is showing you that the problem is in the add new section of your object. So maybe if I click on this, it should take me there, but sometimes it doesn't work. Now, if you want better debugging, you have to move your JavaScript to a separate file. The reason why this doesn't show me what line has a problem is because there is HTML in there. So better you have an external JavaScript file, it's going to be much better to see the errors. The only problem with putting an external file right now is that browsers are notorious for caching the files. So it means you may be performing changes to your JavaScript file and you won't see them in your browser. That's because it's using an old version of the same thing. So this is why I don't do this. I don't make separate files, but there's you can edit the link, change the name and all that. But let's not suffer like that for now. What I'll do is let's just go to the add new this add new function and see where query dots. We'll have to look for one that suits the bill. So let's go down to curriculum object. So let me try and search for it. That's faster. Okay, so there it is, curriculum, and there's this add new function. So there's a query selector of an object that is not being... So I'm guessing this is the one, because this is the only part we have query selector in the add new section. So append child my div. So it's failing to append this div that we create to an item that it cannot find. So the item is dot plus the section. Now the section in this case is JS curriculum, right? So we should make sure that that exists before we try to do anything. So JS curriculum, In order to check, we have to go to these course edit tabs because this is where the pages are. The curriculum view is right here. So let's just make sure that actually exists. So we can do a Control F to find and then go here, and it seems it actually does exist. So why isn't it being found? Okay, so JS curriculum, which is this one? So that's a class name, right? Okay, so things seem to be okay. Okay, just to make sure that we are coming to this point, okay, let's just put an alert right here. All right, let's put an empty alert right there and save. So I'm just going to come here and refresh the page. And of course, I do not get the alert. So, or the alert is happening after the problem here. So let me move the alert. This is one way to debug things. If for some reason you can't see the actual problem. Okay, so we're not getting to the alert before we get these problems. So this is not where our issue is at all. So it seems it doesn't come to this, which is very strange indeed. If I put an alert here outside, I should see that alert. Okay, so things are going on well there. So where is the alert coming in? Let's try this other object. Since we know that it's definitely coming from the add new, but there are two objects. There's intended learners and then there's the curriculum. So let's see if this intended learners should not even be active on this tab. So let's see if that works. Okay, so this is where the problem is. It's reading from the wrong place. So let's figure out why. So this add new is being called from the tab action. Wait, not tab action. Load inputs, I think. That should be the place. So let's check out the load input version of curriculum here. Let's see what's going on. If we scroll down, load inputs, this seems to be fine. Minimum input, there. Okay, so things look okay here. Let me just see an alert here to see if that is being evoked as well. And it's not. So that's where the problem is. We are calling the wrong item altogether. Now, before load inputs, because this is the starting point, let's follow the trail from, let me go back here. Let's follow what's going on here. So when we do a send data, when we first load, we send data as and once we get the results, this is where we come to. So let me put an alert here. So you can put an alert everywhere and try to monitor where things go. So here it does happen. That's cool. And let's keep moving. So from here, the tab content, that's our div. And then we need to get our metadata from an actual item from here. So let me see if we do we get to this point? That's the question. Okay, we do. That's good. Now I just need to know what's inside this right there. Okay, what's the object name? It's curriculum. So everything is working as intended. Then Windows curriculum get meta. Okay, so we go to that function. Let's find that function right there. So since it's going to the right place, so let's go to get meta of curriculum object. So let's go down to the curriculum object. Let me just do a search. So there it is. And let's look for get meta function. Where is that? Right there. Okay, cool. So once we get here, data type is get meta, object tab name, course ID, and then we send data. So once we send this data, we do get some JSON data after that. So I think that's where the problem comes in. So back here to the front of the script tags, they send data. Once we get a result, handle result. Now this time there are two places, here where we get JSON data, here where we don't. So we've already passed this and everything is fine. But the second time we're getting this. So here it's not save, it's get meta that we are getting results from. And as you can see, there's only one function here that says intended learners.handle result. Now I wanted to go to not intended learners, but to choose based on the tab that we are on. So just like we did here with object name is equal to that, then let's do this. So what I'll do is I'll grab that, just try to declare it again so that we have object name, and then let's use window.object name like that, like we did here, and then like so. That way it's curriculum, and then we'll have window curriculum.handle result. That should work. All right, so that's how you follow things through to get to your problem. And there we go. So things are working as intended. As you can see here, it has loaded accordingly, and here as well. So let's see that. Very cool. Now I can move these around. Now this one with a 2 is on the top. Let's try and save that and see if things do work, and then refresh the page. So it has worked and it's saved. As you can see, these two would have swapped if I refresh this. Okay, so things are working very well as intended. The only problem now is we only have one item saved here. Now we need a way to identify which item is which permanently, right? Before we can actually add extra data to this. So here we need an extra identifier for each one of these items. Now that identifier must be permanent, because when we are saving, we should have it so that we save it together with this information here. All right. Excuse me. So what we need to do now is to say item ID. So let's go to structure and let's create one more column, and let's call that one item underscore ID. Now this is unlike the ID, like I told you before. This is an ID that we will, I don't know how we can generate this one. Let's see, before we add an ID here, let me cancel that. Oh, we'll just say okay. I just want to see if there's something unique about one individual item here that never changes, but no. Disabled is not unique, the tab name is not unique, the data type is not unique. The only unique thing is the actual value. That's the only thing that doesn't repeat. So a combination of the course ID, the data type, plus the value and the tab name, that is unique. But there's no uniqueness to each one of these except the value. Because you can see here, 5 who's that and that. All these are common to both of these rows. So which means there's no, the only unique thing is this ID right here. But the problem with this ID is it changes. Let me show you that. You see this one is 8, ID number 8, and has curriculum data 2. But then I can move it to 9 very easily by just moving it down and saving. And you will notice that this ID this thing will come here, but the ID will remain 8, will remain there. So as you can see, these have swapped, but 8 has remained. So what I really want is an ID that will follow the data together with it. So the ID will swap and the data together with the data. So let's fix that in the next video.